Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Support for the community programming provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:01. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
So how are we doing today?
It was tough getting going this morning.
Was it?
Yes. I slept incredibly well, but I fell
So
asleep on
did
the
I.
recliner.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay.
The dog never left my side all night.
Never woke you up or anything. You know, that was so funny though. The same for me. I just had a great night's sleep. I mean, I was in such a sound sleep that when my alarm went off, you know, you have that feeling of like, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is, you know, because it's behind my head. So I couldn't see the clock and I'm going, wow, what's going on here? And I looked at the clock and I went, wow, 4:05. And then I said, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. I got my show. But yeah, I slept right through. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But, and then I woke
By the
up.
way, it is a beautiful sunrise out
Oh,
there.
it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Look at that.
But I have to, yeah, it's beautiful. And it's not quite 50 degrees yet. It's in the high 40s. So it's still a little chilly, but I think it's going to be another beautiful day. They said it's going to be another top 10. So we're excited about that. My allergies are wreaking havoc with me. I don't know how you're doing, but
I'm not doing terrible.
not bad.
Not doing terrible. I mean, I felt it last night. I felt like the headache and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't been congested, though. Usually I get really congested.
Yep, that's me.
That's not necessarily me.
Yesterday at work, I must have, and I don't have any windows in my office, but I must have sneezed 100,000 times yesterday at work. I just couldn't. And I know it's allergies because I can, you know, the itchy eyes, the whole deal.
Yeah, but I noticed
So-
the tree pollen's not bad this year.
Yeah, I don't know
Because
what
my
it
car's
is for
not
me.
covered.
No, I agree. I totally agree. But this is the height of my worst time. Is just as everything's looking beautiful and blooming, this is like the hardest for me. If I get through the next, 3 to 4 weeks, then I'll
It's
be
been
okay.
better.
It settles in.
My wife bought plants really early, that little warm spell we had.
I know you said she had to bring them in.
She brought them in, right? And it was right in front of me, and that was killing me.
That's, not a
And
good
it hasn't been
idea.
that cold out, so she's leaving them out at night because it hasn't been really, really cold.
Yep.
So it's been better since
Yeah.
they've been out. Oh, my Lord. It was brutal.
I know. Poor Christy. Well, she has to
They were
learn,
5 feet away. It's like, oh.
These are the things that newly married people have to learn about each other. Do not buy plants too early and have to bring them in when you're married to somebody with allergies.
Well, I never used to have them. It's only been the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I told her wait for the plant sale here, like this weekend.
It's coming up.
Right. Wait for the plant sale here to buy your plants.
I know. And they did a really nice article in yesterday's Westfield News, and they said like they're really beautiful this year, and as they always are.
Horticulture
Get
will
here
be
early.
featured prominently on Tiger Talk this week.
Yeah, good, as they should be. Yep, nice article in the Westfield News yesterday. Big article in the Republican today. That's why I was running just a tad bit late. Not that I was late this morning, but I stopped at the senior center, looked at the front page of the paper, and went, "Oh my!" So Bay State is taking over Mercy Hospital.
Yeah, I saw the post about it yesterday.
Yeah. So
I'm not surprised, but my wife asked me if that's a good thing for us, and I said it's really not. Because now you don't have a choice; it's a monopoly. It's like it's like what Hartford Healthcare did in northern and western Connecticut.
Yeah,
they own everything now. Like,
I know
you can't operate.
Well, and that's the thing, Pete. You know, when I read the article, and it was a long article, but I read the whole thing, and toward the end, it said they're not only taking over Bay State, they're not taking over Mercy Hospital, but they're also taking over all of the Trinity, like primary care physician offices.
What used to be Medical West.
Correct. And what used to be Riverbend. When Gary worked for them, they were Riverbend. Yep. Well, and then Trinity. But the one in Chicopee on Montgomery Road, the one in Springfield.
My question is,
how many
of them are going to close?
I don't know. And I think that's everybody's question.
Like, I think Mercy Hospital is going to close. I don't see how you maintain two major hospitals.
I don't either.
Unless you split like what you do into two different units.
Right, exactly.
That's
so like
a possibility.
All maternity goes over to Mercy or all of, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you, Pete. I don't know how you...
I think Mercy has a better cancer program, I think, overall.
Okay.
I think they have a very well-rated cancer program. And then, what do you do with the hospital? Do you make that... I mean, listen, around here... I know for a fact that for drug and alcohol treatment, there are not even close to being enough beds.
Absolutely.
When Providence Hospital went out, that converted, but that was very small. It's only like 80 beds, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
It wasn't much because when I was a dispatcher, you tried to find a bed for somebody and nobody.
Oh, no, I know.
It was just useless.
Right. I agree with you.
You convert a hospital like that, a Mercy Hospital to, half rehab.
Behavioral health. Yeah.
A rehab type thing.
Yep.
And that could be a moneymaker for them.
Yeah. And
that may be the only reason that
if you really want to fill a need, do like a pediatric mental health, because if you think it's hard for people over the age of 18, try to get a child into, some kind of a facility like that who's in crisis.
Substance abuse.
Substance abuse, yeah. So we'll see what happens, to be determined. We'll have to tap into Dr. Lovelace's inside.
Well, yeah,
scoop.
he's right square in the middle of the storm.
Yes, he certainly is. But we won't see him for a few months because between our two schedules.
I was going to ask him if there's anything he wanted to talk about, just to talk about.
Yep.
He could come in with me.
Yeah.
And just chat.
Yeah.
Like I do with Joe Didi and Doug Moglin. And,
yep.
If there's anything he wanted that, obviously I know there's some stuff he can't talk about.
Yeah.
But if there's something that they wanted to get out and he wanted to talk about,
okay.
The door's open.
Yeah.
So.
We'll throw that out there to him. Yeah. So crazy schedule coming up. So I am scheduled for my second foot surgery. So the other foot. My driving foot.
The other shoe shall drop?
The other shoe shall drop, literally. So, met with the foot surgeon on Monday, and she said, okay, so, you know the drill. I took my bag of medications from last time, and I said to her, well, I didn't use this, and this. I don't even remember what they were for. So we went over all of those again. So I said, we don't need any of those. And the pain,
you never know.
Well, no, I mean, I don't need any more of them was my point.
Gotcha.
So I didn't use, there were three, one was like big pain med, which I avoided, and I didn't take that at all. But yeah, and that's what Gary and I said. It's like, who knows this time? But I said, so I don't need a refill on that because, they're still good for another 6 months or so. And then the ones, I alternated between the Tylenol and the Advil, and they were, they're like the industrial strength. So I alternated between those, but those, I had big jars of those. So I have plenty of those left. So we didn't have to do that at all. And, we just kind of reviewed everything again. I said, what I remember the most about the first surgery is I live in a house where we have 3 floors. So, so it's the stair thing. And, you have to go up and down on your butt. Like Charlie did it with me. My granddaughter did it with me. Of course, she's now walking using the railing, so she'll be running past me. But it's just the tremendous arm strength that you need. And I remember by week 5 of non-weight bearing, I was thinking, boy, this is getting old. But I have good upper body strength. So, and you need it for this. It's not a surgery that I would recommend for somebody who's older and not in great shape. Or if you live on one floor, you're okay. But I have wheeled things on every level. So I'm trying out some different things. So I have a scooter for the main floor, which is what I had the last time. That worked well. I have a rollator for the basement. We have a finished basement. So I have a rollator down there, and that worked well. And this time around for the upstairs, I'm trying a platform walker, which is a stand-up walker, and there are like armrests on it. So you lean on your arms. So I'm going to see how that works. So that's the new one that we're going to try.
Can you relocate to the bottom floor for the time period? Or?
No, I can't. Because, in the old days, Pete, I might have been able to, but now that we have a 2.5-year-old, almost 3-year-old living with us, I lost my dining room. That's now a playroom. We lost our guest room because that's now Grace's room, because Grace's room became Charlie's room. That's how it goes.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so, no, but, but I do a lot more planning now with, okay, if I'm going to go downstairs, let's get everything I need for the next 4 or 5 hours so I don't have to do the up and down. That's hard for me because, and at the senior center too, when I go back to work, but there I have an elevator because I'm just up and down the stairs about 100 times a day at least. I must.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and people comment about that all the time because when they're in the fireside lounge, you can see me running up and down the stairs. But anyway, so that's happening a week from today. So I'm taking off the entire week, just so our viewers know. I'm taking off the whole month of May. Because, it's just going to be...
too much.
It's just going to be too much. So I'm just trying to get my life in order here. So we are going to do best of shows. And I gave you the list of... I have specific ones that I wanted you to air.
Yeah,
I kind of went back and I looked at, especially where we had 2 guests in a morning. So it was a lot of good information for folks and some timeless information. So... but today we have a great show. We have a lot going on. Jen Jaffoon is coming in second hour. Jen is a registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist. If you've never heard her on the show before, she's a regular. She joins us on the last Wednesday of every month. And she's going to be talking about dining out challenges. Like, how do you stay with some kind of a healthy eating plan when you're either eating in a restaurant or you've been invited to a friend or a relative's home, or, the family wants to do takeout, that kind of thing. So how do you and that is a bit of a challenge. So she will be joining us a second hour. I want to do a huge shout out. We had a really busy couple of Saturdays at the Senior Center. A week and a half ago, we did we didn't, but CSF Dollars for Scholars did their shred event. So, and then this past Saturday, we had all kinds of stuff going on. So we had a chess tournament going on inside, which we've never done before. So this was kind of they had approached us. And,
sure, yeah.
So it was a first time. It was a bona fide, sanctioned chess tournament by the National, Federation of Chess Players, or whatever their national organization is called. So there were, a lot of rules that had to be followed. It was very precise. Ed Kostrumbek was the one who organized it and coordinated it. So he did a wonderful job. And what he said to me was they absolutely loved the facility because we used the great room. We used the whole room. And the tables are very precise. Like we had to measure the distance between tables and how that all got done. Yeah, no, it was. So I was out there with my tape measure Friday afternoon getting that all set up for them. And then we used the multi-purpose room upstairs so that when they were done with, if there were players that finished a round early, because they did 3 rounds, it was like an all-day thing. If the players finished early, they could go upstairs in the multi-purpose room where we just have card tables and stuff. And, they could kind of talk about the strategy with their partner, whoever they played with, that round, because that changed.
Yep.
What surprised me was that there were children in this tournament. There were, I think, 4. And when I say children, I don't think they were older than maybe 10 or 12. And I was just blown away by that because, first of all, just to have that attention span to be able to play all day. And one of the adults, he had come out of the first round, and I was talking to him in the hallway, and I said, how's it going in there? And he said, well, it's really intense. And it is. It is the quietest activity that, you could ever want to do.
Sure.
Nobody's saying anything. And it was...
All you hear is click.
Right. You could hear like a pin drop. I mean, everybody just kind of sat there looking.
Type thing?
Yeah. Yeah, they all had timers on their tables. So anyway, that was going on. But then outside, we had Drug Take Back Day. So thank you to Todd Edwards and Jason, whose last name I don't remember, who were the two police officers that were there. Todd coordinates it every year. So we've worked together for, I don't know, I think this is probably our 5th or 6th year doing it. And it's a curbside, so it's really nice. And, the seniors know that you can take your drugs back to the police department 24/7. There's a big kiosk thing there that you can just drop them off. But what they loved about this was you didn't have to get out of your car. You didn't have to find a place to park or any of that kind of stuff. Just drove through. So they were there, and they collected over 400 pounds of unused medications, over the counter, prescription, pet medications, all of that, vitamins, all of that stuff. And then at the same time, we had the Westfield Fire Department in the parking lot. We were doing a fire prevention and fall prevention safety program. So they had some giveaways, and we had some informational flyers and so forth. We were giving away File of Life packets and automatic night lights for fall prevention. And refrigerator magnets that we made. So thank you to, I'm trying to think, it was Katie and I think Seth were there the first shift. And then there were 2 others that I didn't realize they had changed shifts out there because I was inside with the chess people. And so anyway, a shout out to the Westfield Fire Department. Speaking of the Westfield Fire Department, we have our new fire chief, Eric Bishop, will be doing a Meet the Chief lunch and learn today at the Senior Center. Unfortunately, if you didn't sign up, it's too late because you have to register in advance. But we have a nice crowd for him. It'll be a full house. So we're going to have lunch, and he's going to do an educational program. And then we're going to top it off with some ice cream sundaes. So we're pretty excited. I'm wearing my Retire the Fire shirt because the whole staff will be, because we're really focusing on fire prevention and safety, and meeting the new chief today at the Senior Center. So that's what's happening on our end. But thank you to the fire department and the police department for making Saturday such a successful event. All right, it is 6:16. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. Today is the birthday of Willie Nelson. We'll talk a little bit more about Willie when we come back, but let's listen to him singing On the Road Again. We'll be back.
1, 2, 3, 4. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends, and I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Going places that I've never been, seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Like a band of gypsies, we go down the highway. We're the best of friends, insisting that the world keep turning our way. And our way is on the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends, and I can't wait to get on the road again.
Support for community programming provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:20. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So the other thing that happened on Saturday, which I completely forgot to mention, is that the newsletter came out. So we have the May Voice of Experience newsletter. So there was a lot happening. I also have to give a huge shout out to Barbara Martone, who is our volunteer extraordinaire. And Barbara is like my right-hand person, especially for these oddball, weekend events, sometimes evening events. She's there for it all. So she was outside helping the entire time direct traffic for the drug take back and the senior safety Saturday with the fire department. And then at 2:00, when we shut all that down, she came inside so that she could sort and count and organize our newsletters, which she does for me every month, and then go and deliver some of them as well. So she's an amazing volunteer. I am so lucky that we have her. I feel like she's like my personal assistant half the time. But anyway, so the newsletter is out. Please feel free. It came out a little early because the last Saturday of the month fell a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Yep.
But there's a lot happening. So we will talk about that, especially since I'm not going to be here for a month reminding you of all these things. So in the newsletter, we'll talk in a few minutes about what's happening in May, but even in early June, because next month the newsletter is going to come out very late. Like the last Saturday in June is like either the last day or the day before the last day of June. So we wanted to sneak in some of the early June stuff as well. So a lot happening. It's warming up. The weather's warming up. So things are going on. All right. So we have some famous birthdays. Let's talk about Willie Nelson. You just heard him. He was born on this date in 1933 in Abbott, Texas. He's 93 years old today and still performing, still singing.
Yep.
Country singer and songwriter Willie Nelson rose to prominence at the end of the 1960s and contributed to what was considered the outlaw country subgenre, which challenged the music industry conservatism of Nashville at that time. In 1960, Nelson moved to Nashville, where he found a job as a songwriter for Pamper Music. The following year, two of Nelson's creations became hits for other artists. Farron Young's version of Hello Walls reached #1 on the country charts and sold 2 million copies. And Patsy Cline's legendary rendition of Crazy, and I have to say that's one of my favorite songs, became a top 10 hit on both country and pop. Nelson's own musical recordings fell flat, largely because he didn't fit the Nashville country music mold at the time, which I can definitely see that. His growing reputation as a hard-living, hard-drinking man only served to highlight his outsider status. In the 1970s, he returned to Texas, and inspired by Woodstock, his July 4th gatherings became popular musical celebrations and included performances from other country music outlaws such as Chris Christopherson and Waylon Jennings. Back on his home turf, Nelson also resumed his recording efforts, but in his own style and on his own terms. Soon, that unique approach won the long-haired bandana-wearing performer a devoted following. Now in his 90s, Nelson continues to record, tour, and devote time to charitable and political causes. So happy 93rd birthday to Willie Nelson, who remains on the road again. He is just out there doing it. The other person, it's another famous singer-songwriter, has a birthday today, and that's Tommy James. He was born on this day in 1947 in Dayton, Ohio. He's 79 years old. Tommy James and the Shondells were lucky enough to be making pop-oriented rock and roll in an era when most of the rest of the rock music world was trying to make more serious records. Their songs ran almost counter to the trend among serious rock artists. Moni Moni, a number 3 hit coming out of the midst of Vietnam, the psychedelic boom, and just as rock music was supposed to be turning toward higher, more serious forms, was a result of the group looking for a perfect party record and dance tune. Even the name was sheer dumb luck, a result of James spotting the Mutual of New York, MONY, illuminated sign atop their building in Midtown Manhattan at a key moment in the creative process. Other hits included Sweet Cherry Wine, Crimson and Clover, and Crystal Blue Persuasion. The end of the Shondells' history came not really from any real decision, but simply their desire to take a break in 1970 after 4 years of hard work and a lot of great times. And Tommy James is, you can hear him on Sirius Radio on the 60s station, 60s station on, I think.
60s on 6.
Yep, I think no, it's not on 6 anymore. It used to be. No? Now it's like on 71 or 72.
Oh, no kidding.
No, they switch things around. But anyway, I think he's on Sunday nights, starting at either 5 or 6 o'clock. So yeah, interesting. And he always gives the the background and the take on things and stuff like that. So
kind of like Michael Buster McMahon.
Yeah, exactly. All right. A couple of other famous people with birthdays today. It is the birthday of Jerry Seinfeld, comedian, actor, born on this day in 1954 in Brooklyn, New York. Jerry Seinfeld is 72 years old today. His interest in comedy was sparked at an early age through the influence of his father, who was a sign maker, but who was also a closet comedian. By the age of 8, Jerry Seinfeld was putting himself through rigorous comic training, watching television day and night to study the techniques of comedians. He made his stand-up debut at an open mic night in 1976 and appeared on The Tonight Show in 1981. After starring in his own television special in 1987, he developed the sitcom Seinfeld for NBC with fellow comedian Larry David. Produced and sometimes co-written by Seinfeld, the quirky, widely watched show emphasized loosely structured stories, seemingly insignificant subject matter, and a buddy system of comedy in which the Jerry character often played a straight man to his 3 tightly wound screwball friends. The show reached unprecedented levels of popular and critical acclaim, and many of its catchphrases and plot elements became part of the cultural lexicon, which is so true. No soup for you, and, sponge-worthy, and, not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, there were all kinds of things that came out of Seinfeld. The show ran for 9 seasons and was the highest-rated show in the United States when the final episode aired in 1998. So happy 72nd birthday to Jerry Seinfeld. And finally, it is the birthday of the late Tammy Terrell, singer born on this day in 1945 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Terrell's career began as a teenager, recording for Scepter Wand Records, Checker Records, and then in 1965, Motown. With Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell scored 7 top 40 singles, including Ain't No Mountain High Enough, which was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing, and You're All I Need to Get By. Terrell's career was interrupted when she collapsed into Marvin Gaye's arms as the two performed at a concert at Hampton-Sydney College on October 14th, 1967, with Terrell later being diagnosed with a brain tumor. She had 8 unsuccessful surgeries before succumbing to the illness in 1970 at the age of 24. So it's really amazing to me that she scored all of these top 40 hits, and she only lived to be 24 years old. So she really did most of that in her teenage years and her early 20s. So happy birthday to the late Tammy Terrell. All righty. It is 6:29. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. And in honor of the birthday of Tommy James and the Shondells fame, we're going to listen to Mony Mony. So get up and start moving, cleaning the house and dancing and all that good stuff.
Here she comes now, saying Mony Mony. Oh, shoot 'em down, turn around, come on, Mony. Hey, she give me love and I feel alright now. There we go. You got me tossing, turning, feeling right, and I feel alright. I say yeah, 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 yeah. Well, you make me feel so good. Yeah, so good. Alright, come on. Alright, baby. Say yeah, 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 yeah. Wake me, shake me, Mony Mony. Shotgun, get it done, come on, Mony. Don't stop cooking, it feels so good, yeah. Hey, hey, but don't stop now, hey, come on, Mony, come on, Mony, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, you make me feel so good. Yeah, yeah. Alright, come on. So good. Alright. I say yeah, yeah,
Underwriting for the community programming is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM, WSFD.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM, WSFD-LP, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:33. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM, and you are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So I would like to spend a few minutes talking about an incredible experience that I had a week ago. It was last Wednesday evening at Westfield State University. So let me give you a little background information. I attended a ceremony with some of the Sassy Stitchers and our Peacemakers quilters at Westfield State, and this program had to do with faces. So about a year and change ago, Holly Lurgio approached me. Holly is on the Faces board for Westfield State. She's chairman, I think, of the board. FACES stands for Fostering a Culture of Empowerment and Success, and it is a program committed to supporting and empowering current and former foster youth, students experiencing homelessness, and youth who have experienced other forms of substitute care. And I think, this program was born because there are students at the university who are, once you age out of the foster care system, you're kind of on your own. So, you turn 18 and it's like, okay, here you go. And they're really left to their own devices. And there is also a problem, and I know when my daughter Grace went to school there, she had a friend who, there were three children, I think, in the family, one in college, and I think the other two were in high school at the time. Single mom lost her job. I mean, it was a downsizing thing, and one day you're working, the next day you're not. And, they lost their home. And, this was really new to Grace. I mean, she didn't have friends who were homeless before this. And this friend had to kind of take to, couch surfing and so forth. So anyway, the FACES group was really started on campus to assist these students in some way. And Holly had come to us. She had approached me, as I said, probably a year and a half ago, and said that FACES started back, like I want to say, it was before COVID, but I want to say like maybe 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. Started small. Father Warren Savage was part of, helping to get this program up and running, as was Reverend Barbara Hess from the Second Congregational Church. So there was, some support and some community support. But anyway, the idea was that, the students would be assisted through some scholarships and just through some basic, there are basic things like, what is a student who doesn't have a place to live? Where do they go over spring break? Where do they go over summer break? So there were those kind of logistical problems. And so the other thing that really struck me during this ceremony, it was their courting ceremony. So they were honoring and recognizing the seniors who are graduating that have been in the FACES program. And then those others that are still in the program and still, the underclassmen. But anyway, so this was a well-attended event. Holly had approached me about having, they were looking for homemade blankets. And she said, because they had this idea that when the students came back, what FACES would do is they would give them a laundry basket with some of the necessities, things like sheets and towels and personal supplies and things like that, some of these students didn't even realize they needed those things. They didn't realize the college doesn't supply that. Well, last year, Holly said they decided instead of giving them a laundry basket full of these things, what they would do instead was set up almost like a store where they could come and pick out what they wanted. So, here's
similar to the model that happens like in the schools.
Yes, exactly. So here are all the towels. You pick out the set of towels you want, the set of sheets you want, the other things that you need. Well, they thought it'd be a nice idea if each one of them had a handmade blanket. But, there are a lot of students that are in this situation. And so Holly had said to me, they were trying to kind of figure out, well, who's going to be willing to make like 30 blankets? Well, enter the senior center. So I took the idea to, we have two groups that I thought could help out with this project. One is our Sassy Stitchers, that's our knit and crochet group. And the other is our Peacemakers quilting group, and they meet on Friday mornings. The Sassy Stitchers meet on Wednesdays. And I asked them if they could kind of, divide this up and can you each make sort of half the blankets. And I just said, and these are not baby blankets. So these are for adults. I mean, they're for college students. So they're big blankets. So they take a long time and they take a lot of yarn. And anyway, the groups came through with flying colors. They embraced the idea of doing this. They jumped right in and they started cranking out these blankets that were, one was just more beautiful than the other. I mean, they were just amazing. And of course, you've got a variety of personalities and different levels of crafters in these groups. So, every blanket is unique. Every blanket is different. And I said to them, you have both male and female students. So, you've got to pay attention to that when you're choosing your colors. We don't want all pink or all, dark blue or whatever color. So they, a whole variety of colors. And so anyway, they we had all of those, and in August we had Amy Porter came from the Westfield News and took pictures, and we turned over, bags and bags of clean, washed, handmade blankets over to the college, over to the university. Anyway, unbeknownst to my crafters, I had been told ahead of time that they were going to be presented with an award at this ceremony on Wednesday. And so we were trying to get as many of them to attend as possible. And so I went, and I was asked to say a few words. And it was interesting because there's a portion of the they do this every year. This is an annual that they do over in Scanlon Hall every year. And there's a portion of the event where it's called Did You Know? And they have different students in the audience that, they pass the microphone around and they say, did you know? And so I'm going to read to you just a few of them. These were actual ones that were done. And then I was asked to do a did you know? So I did mine at the end. So I would like to read this because I think this explains a little bit about the program, what FACES is all about. So it starts with, did you know that 84% of foster youth aged 17 to 18 want to go to college? Did you know only 20% of foster youth actually attend college? And did you know that only 2 to 3% of foster youth who attend college graduate? Did you know that Westfield State University now provides year-round housing for FACES students so that they don't end up homeless or having to sleep in their cars? Did you know that foster youth and housing insecure students often have nowhere to go on during the holidays and often end up spending them alone? Well, think about it. Where do you go? Did you know, this is my portion, I did too. Did you know that last year the Senior Center Sassy Stitchers and Peacemakers Quilting Group collectively crocheted, sewed, and quilted 31 handmade blankets and 30 tote bags for students in the FACES program? I had one woman who came and said to me, I know you're looking for blankets. Do you think they would like tote bags? She quilts these gorgeous tote bags. And so she made a bunch of them. And again, every single one is different. And finally, did you know that one of the Sassy Stitchers, Sharon Powell Passe, showed the same courage, sacrifice, persistence, and resilience as the FACES students when she completed her Westfield State University handmade blanket during the final days of her painful struggle with a terminal illness. Sharon passed away on Wednesday, March 25th. That was last month, the same day of the week that she used to gather with the Sassy Stitchers. And Sharon was one of a kind. She was determined to get her final blanket finished. She had done a few last year when we had turned all those in, but I knew she was working on one. She was really trying to check all the boxes before she passed away, and that was one of them. And it was less than 2 weeks before she died that she brought the blanket in, had her husband bring her down because she wasn't driving at that point, and brought the blanket in, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I brought it to the FACES event, and we displayed it. So it was beautiful. So the two groups, our two groups, the Sassy Stitchers and the Peacemakers Quilting Group, received the Champion of the Year awards. The Sassy Stitchers on their award, which we have proudly displayed in the front window of the lobby in the Senior Center. It says the Sassy Stitchers Champion of the Year Award for providing warmth and kindness one stitch at a time. And the Peacemakers Quilting Group, their award reads, with every quilt, you piece together warmth, hope, and a sense of home. Congratulations and thank you. So we are very proud, and I want to thank Amy Porter, who I didn't realize Amy was even there that night, but on Friday in the Westfield News, here was this beautiful article, and I have to tell you, the woman who gave the keynote, her name is Devon Kumba. I don't think there was, I can tell you for a fact, there was not a dry eye in the audience when she finished. She was one of the founders, I think, in terms of as a student of FACES, helped to kind of get this organized. Her story is, and Amy did a wonderful job in the paper of kind of explaining her story. She was in 9 different foster homes, went to 4 different high schools. She said she because of an adjustment counselor, a guidance counselor, ended up at Westfield State. But she said when she got there, she came with her bag of clothes. I mean, she didn't know what else she needed. She didn't have any parents to guide her through that.
Right.
And the other thing that I just kind of want to end with is, the students really, and there were a lot of students in the audience who are in the FACES program and who are graduating and who were alum of the FACES program. One of them, by the way, sitting next to me was the very first, and I think so far the only one, to have gotten his PhD, and he is now working at Amherst College. So that's an amazing journey, an amazing story. Anthony was sitting next to me. But the centerpieces, underneath the centerpieces, there was a placemat. The placemat, I looked at it and I kind of thought, I wonder what that is. Well, what they had done was they had taken black trash bags and cut them into squares and decorated the outsides of them. Because they told the story of when you move from one foster home to another, that's what you do. You don't have luggage or boxes. Like your clothes get thrown into one of the big heavy-duty black trash bags, and that's what you take, and that's what you have. And so I thought it was such a beautiful symbol of, taking sort of that trash bag symbol and making it beautiful. And I think that's what these students are doing. So thank you to Holly Lurgio and the board, the FACES board. And I got to tell you, there are some movers and shakers on that board. When they introduced them, Jill Adams, Jimmy Adams' wife, is on the board. Sue Figge, Ralph Figge's wife, is on the board. There are clergy on the board. Just some amazing folks. Kelly Brown from the Boys and Girls Club, and some others. A lot of good community folks who have given a lot. This is certainly a worthwhile program. So, in honor of the FACES program, I found a beautiful song. So for our break, we are going to listen to Stephanie Lavelle singing "Nice Warm Blanket." You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. Again, let's listen to "Nice Warm Blanket" by Stephanie Lavelle.
Wrapped around your shoulders, squeezed nice and tight, a cozy warm blanket for a cozy warm night. Make your body small, wrap your knees in close, take a deep breath, know you're safe and warm. Just for you, in a nice warm blanket, we're taking care
Underwriting for the community programming is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:50. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with Pete Coles, the chairman of the board, and our chief engineer. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning. Big launch this morning.
Big launch? Do tell.
10:15. Falcon Heavy is launching a communications satellite for the Pacific.
And so, what is this going to? What's the goal of this? What are they going to be?
It's going to expand.
What information are they going to bring back?
They're talking about what, a terabit a second of communications capacity.
Okay.
Like data transmission and things like that. And it's also a TV satellite.
Okay.
But you won't see many more Falcon Heavies because as the Starship, the bigger rocket, comes online, they're going to phase out.
They're phasing out.
Right. They'll keep the Falcon 9 for regular launches, and the Falcon Heavy will do all the heavy lifting stuff. So
okay, all right.
Or sorry, the Starship will do all
the heavy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
But I got to see one in person with my then fiance
and now wife.
Now wife. We got to see one at night, which was really cool.
That was down at where was that down in Florida?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We got to see it. We got to see it launch and then do the whole thing, and both boosters land.
Was that Christy's first time watching?
No, second, because she had watched one in Virginia.
That's right. That's right. Yep, that's right. And she got hooked.
Yes.
You get hooked when you go in person.
I would love to be there today for this one because I think they're landing both boosters back.
And where are they launching from? Oh, Cape Canaveral. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's harder now, though, Pete. You know, you're married. You got responsibilities, and it's
I have too much going on here
now.
That's
the problem. I know.
Too much going on here.
I know. We all do. It's crazy. All right. Today, April 29th, is National Denim Day, but it's probably not what you think. You know, it's like, oh, yay, Denim Day. But each year in April, Denim Day raises awareness about all forms of sexual violence. And there's a story behind this and the reason for the whole denim and how this ties in. So throughout the country and world, the day sets a standard of support for survivors and provides a foundation for solidarity through a simple message. There is no reason for sexual assault, not even the types of clothes that a person wears. The statistics are staggering, but the personal stories are more haunting. According to RAIN Statistics, which stands for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, 1 in every 6 American women has been a victim of an attempted or completed rape in her lifetime. There's no reason for them to be victims, not their age, their clothes, or their status. The day calls for everyone to wear denim to show support for victims and survivors of sexual harassment, abuse, assault, and rape. College campuses, clinics, businesses, and organizations host educational events and fundraisers to increase awareness and change misconceptions. So here's the history of Denim Day. An Italian parliament in 1999 overturned a 1992 rape conviction based on the victim's clothing. According to the decision, the woman was wearing tight jeans and therefore must have given consent. This decision led to protests in Italy where women wore jeans showing support for the victim. Since then, the organization Peace Over Violence has sponsored Denim Day to raise awareness and eliminate sexual violence around the world. How to observe Denim Day? Well, wear denim. Join a prevention and education campaign. Donate or volunteer to help the cause. Domestic violence centers and hotlines require assistance. Learn to become an advocate for change. Start a conversation. During your discussion, share experiences. Learn more by visiting www.denimdayinfo.org. And, ironically, in today's Republican, on the front page, there's a story about the woman who was the victim of domestic violence, killed by her husband, allegedly killed by her husband up at UMass. Both worked at UMass. They're doing a vigil at the hotel. Yeah, they're doing a vigil for her next week. So it all kind of ties into this whole sexual violence thing. All right, April.
There's been some infamous cases over the years around here too. The woman that was murdered right outside the Northampton courthouse by her estranged lover.
Yep.
And then her mom was big into the thing for years and years and years. We did stories with her at Channel 40.
Yeah. It's those statistics are staggering, but they're real. I can tell you they are real. All right. April is also National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. So something that, we all need to be reminded of. At least 8 people a day are killed in distracted driving crashes. Distracted driving isn't just risky for you. It can be deadly for every nearby driver, pedestrian, bicyclist, and worker. What is distracted driving? Well, distracted driving constitutes any activity that takes attention away from a driver's focus on the road. Brains cannot process more than one activity at a time, and focusing on any other task besides driving can lead to delayed reaction times and subsequently a higher chance of being in a collision. So here are the top 5 types of distracted driving. These are the top 5 things that distract drivers. 1, using electronic devices. No surprise there. 2, reaching for an object inside the vehicle, whether it's your sunglasses, a candy bar, whatever it is, but doing an object inside the vehicle. That could also mean turning on your radio or your sound system or whatever. All right, number 3, looking at an object or event outside of the vehicle. That's why I am not a big fan of these. I'm not a fan of the sign that they put in front of City Hall. I think it's those kinds of things that distract drivers, because in order to read it, you have to look at it. If you're looking at the sign, you're not looking at the road in front of you. So I got a problem with that, but I'm only one person. Eating, that's a type of distracted driving. You're reaching for your drink, your coffee, your snack, whatever it is. And number 5, which this blows me away all the time, applying makeup. Really? Who applies makeup while you're driving? Well, apparently a lot of women do, because it's on the top 5 list.
My wife does in the car, does her eyelashes.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
I don't either.
I don't know how you do that. All right, visual distraction. Any distraction that involves taking your eyes off the road. Manual distraction. Any distraction that involves taking your hands off the wheel. Cognitive distraction. Any distraction that involves taking your mind off of driving, which is challenging. Drivers may experience one or more of these distractions during activities such as talking or texting on your phone, eating or drinking, talking to passengers in your vehicle, or using entertainment or navigation systems. So one way that drivers can resist distractions is to minimize any multitasking activity. So whether it's adjusting the mirrors, choosing your music, eating a snack, talking on the phone, or reading a message, drivers should consider taking care of any non-driving activity before you start your trip. All right, so do all that ahead of time. Other ways drivers can avoid distractions include using apps to avoid cell phone usage. I remember the first time I ever saw one of these apps was when I called Patrick Berry, and I got this message, or I texted him, and I got this text message saying, I'm driving right now. I will contact you when I get to wherever I'm going. Yep. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. or you can also request assistance from the passengers in your car. Like, I'm a big one on that. Can you change the radio station? Can you hand me a tissue? Can you, grab the map in the back of the car? Whatever. Passengers can assist with a number of non-driving related tasks, including navigation, handling entertainment systems, or monitoring other passengers in the vehicle. They may also offer encouragement to drivers who are distracted by reminding the driver to refocus on the road. I do that all the time. It's like, whoa, pay attention to what you're doing. Like, you can tell me this story later. Let's pay attention to where we're going, especially if you're driving in an area that you're not familiar with, and you're trying to find side streets or traffic lights or buildings or whatever. So even when you're using a GPS system, you sometimes need to, like, I know the building's, it's supposed to be right here. Where is it? Use the passenger in your car to help you with that. All right, it is 7 o'clock. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15, WCPC. Let's take our top of the hour break. We'll be back.
Support for the community programming provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:03. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning. Behind the glass is Pete Coles, our chief engineer and the chairman of the board, as we like to call him. My guest second hour is Jen Jafune. Jen is a registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist and joins us monthly for our Food for Thought segment. But I told Jen that she was running a little late this morning. I said, well, just take some time to settle in because I've got a whole bunch of announcements to do because I am not back on this show until June. So I've got about like all of the May announcements. I've got like a month's worth of announcements. Like, let's just plow through some of these. So first of all, for some of the community ones, Stanley Park, the new Stanley Park brochure is out. We have copies at the Senior Center. There's a nice article on the front page of today's Westfield News because they actually open up Stanley Park, officially it opens, I think today actually, and they have some amazing programs scheduled for, some fitness programs. I think talking to Nikki Cornelius, they got a grant from Health New England, I think, to do some really kind of fun things, fitness related in the park. So anyway, all of that, I think the whimsical fairy walk starts either this week or next week. So all kinds of things happening. So again, you can go online to Stanley Park, just Google Stanley Park, Westfield, Mass, and you can get their whole schedule, all kinds of things happening. We're already planning our Run Stanley, which is an actually multi-generational, walk, run, roll and stroll, all rolled into one. So that's going to happen in October. And by the way, Pete, not to put you on the spot or anything, but I believe that on my list of things to do was to ask you if you'll DJ that event. I think it's already on my calendar. It's the first Sunday in October, which I think is the 4th of October. Great. I'm going to check that right off my to-do list because I was like, I think I forgot to ask Pete that. The Arbors, we had Jen Payette and Sandra Jones in last week as guests from the Arbors. They were talking about an upcoming presentation that they're going to be doing. It's called Dementia 101. It's being presented by dementia specialist Ed Walters Zucco, who's been with the Arbors for many years. I mean, we've worked with Ed for a long time. It is taking place on Thursday, May 28th at 4:30 p.m. You have to RSVP to reserve your seat. The flyer for this is on the Senior Center bulletin board, so as soon as you walk in the front door of the Senior Center, but the discussion will focus on understanding dementia and memory loss, navigating the disease of dementia, exploring the research and treatment updates on memory loss, and then there will be lots of time for questions and answers. So that will, again, be on Thursday, May 28th. So it's a month away. I get it. Seems like it's a long time. But I won't be here to remind you of this every week for the next 4 weeks, so I'm telling you now. Also, I don't think I've mentioned this, and one of my seniors actually gave this to me. The Pioneer Valley Stroke and Aphasia Support Group. For a long time, nobody was doing any support groups for folks who had had strokes or family members, and now there is one. They meet weekly at the Holyoke Senior Center. They meet at Thursdays at 10 a.m. Join us weekly for in-person meetings involving lively discussion, tips for daily living, shared coping mechanisms, challenging games and exercises, facilitated discussions, judgment-free camaraderie. It's so funny because anybody who runs, and Jen runs the Diabetes Dialogue Support and Education Group at the Senior Center, and I run 2 support groups, soon to be 3 support groups at the Senior Center. We use that word judgment a lot. I keep telling, because I have people in my support groups who I have one woman who always starts her sentences with an apology, I'm sorry. And I'm like, stop, you have nothing to apologize for. I said, This is judgment free. I said, we're not here to judge you. We're here to just accept you, help you, assist you, provide guidance, be your sounding board, but we're not here to judge. So support groups don't judge. So anyway, that is at the Holyoke Senior Center. If you would like more information, again, this this flyer is up on the Senior Center, same bulletin board as the Arbors one when you first walk in the front door, but the number is 322-5625. So that's up at the Senior Center every Thursday, which that's a lot. A weekly support group. I'm kind of impressed with that. Okay, so let's talk about what's going to be happening in May at the Senior Center because there's a lot of stuff happening. So first of all, of course, May, Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. So we always have our Mother's Day luncheon. So the luncheon is not until Wednesday, May 20th. So that's a little ways away. But the tickets go on sale this coming Monday, May 4th. So that's why this is top and center on, front and center on my list of things to remind you, because those tickets always sell out fast. Sure. Mother's Day tickets always sell out within a day or two. So I don't want you to miss out. We're calling it our Heart of Gold Mother's Day Luncheon. Wednesday, May 20th, entertainment begins at 11 o'clock. Ethel Lee and Richie Mitnick, two of our fan favorites. Tickets are $6. They go on sale at 9 o'clock on Monday morning in person. You can't just call and reserve. You have to come in and purchase a ticket. Limit of 2 tickets per person. So if you are a couple and you come in together, you can each purchase 2 tickets. So sometimes people do that, which is fine. On the menu is ham, scalloped potatoes, a vegetable, and for dessert, strawberry and cream cake. So that's coming up. Next week, the Westfield Senior Center Do-Re-Mi Singers present American Songbook Performance. Again, a week from today, May 6th from 2 to 3 p.m. Free concert, no advance signups. Bring a friend and enjoy. We did invite the Arbor, so they're bringing a van over. This is like one of their favorite events. They'll send over a van full of residents, and it's so fun. It just makes it so festive. I will not be there because I will be at the hospital having my foot surgery. But please come. They've really been working hard on this program, and you'll recognize all of the songs because they're all from the American Songbooks. So they're all oldies that you know. All right, then on Wednesday, May 13th, this is a trial.
Okay.
So this is a complimentary session. It's a fitness program. It's called Groove. Have you ever heard of it? I'd never heard of it.
No.
So it's called Groove. The instructor that approached us about this is Carrie Bodendorf. Groove is a joyful, low-impact, dance-based class for all abilities. No dance skills are needed. I did go on the website, and it looks like a ton of fun. And Carrie said you can even do this sitting down, so she can accommodate it even if even if you need to be in a chair. So this is a complimentary session on Wednesday, May 13th, so 2 weeks from today, from 11 to 11:45. Just remember that anybody using the fitness room, so if you're new to our fitness room rules, you do have to change your footwear before walking on the hardwood floor. And I think you just wear walking shoes kind of thing for this program. You do not have to sign up in advance for this. We're running this as a complimentary session to see what the interest is, to see what the feedback is from people who participate. If you love it, then we'll set it up as probably as a weekly fitness class, but it looks like a lot of fun. So I'm saying get your groove on. That's my little slogan for this one. I made that up myself.
You always have good slogans.
Thank you. We are also bringing back our monthly legal consultations. So I'm really excited about this because for several years, attorney Brad Moyer in the area, did free consultations. It's really a starting point. Somebody comes in and says, I have a problem. I don't know if this is a legal thing or not. So Brad would be able to say, yes, it is, or no, it isn't. If it is, he would be able to sort of get somebody started on what their options might be. But Brad retired and moved to the Cape. Well, he's semi-retired. I think he's got a small practice out on the Cape last year. And I haven't been able to replace him until now. So now we have somebody who came to us, and her name is Attorney Ricky Rizos, or Rizos. I'm not sure how we pronounce that. It's Rizos. She will provide initial guidance on estate planning, estate administration, civil matters, and real estate law. You do need to call the Senior Center to schedule an appointment. And Attorney Rizos will be with us on the third Thursday of the month, which is the same as Attorney Moyer was. So she just kept the same time slot, 10 o'clock to noon. And the time slots usually are about a half hour. So she can, 20 minutes to a half an hour. So depending on what you have. So when you call to schedule your appointment, all you're going to do is just give us a very brief of whatever you're looking for help with, just so that we can let her know that ahead of time. You have somebody who's interested he doesn't have a will or doesn't have a power of attorney and wants to set up something like that, or maybe it's a tenant-landlord issue. We've had those kind of issues on both sides, the older person being the tenant or the older person being the landlord. So, whatever the matter is. So anyway, we're excited about that. So thank you to Ricky for helping us with that. Next month's Diabetes Dialogue Support and Education Group, of course, Jen facilitates that, and they meet on the last Tuesday of the month from 1:30 to 2:30. Usually it's the day before this show, but not always. Sometimes there's a little bit of a difference there. she just did the topic that we're going to talk about today yesterday. So we're going to talk about eating out, eating in someone else's home. How do you stay on a healthy eating plan when you're not necessarily doing the cooking? But next month, at the end of May, the topic is going to be travel, healthy eating, and diabetes. How do you go on vacation and stay healthy? So that's going to be that one. Also, I apologize because the students from Westfield Tech came yesterday to help with their tech support instead of on their scheduled day, which was tomorrow. 1,000 apologies from Scott Lockwood here because he kind of messed up and forgot to tell me that they had to switch it. But next month, we are where we're supposed to be. It will be the last time the students will be here. They'll come back in October. But, of course, they're not here over the summer. But they will be offering cell phone, laptop, tablet technology support Thursday, May 28th from 9 to 11. Same as with the legal consultations. You do need to sign up in advance. And just give us a heads up on what you would like some help with. Did you get a new phone? Do you want to set up an email? Do you want to learn how to retrieve your voicemails on your new cell phone? Please learn how to do that so that when we leave you messages. No, because you know what happens? People will call and they know how to identify that we've called, but they don't necessarily know how to get their messages. So, or they haven't set up their mailbox.
That problem all the time.
Yeah, and it's a huge problem, and I get it. But here's my thing: it's like this is one-to-one help. Bring in your own phone. Like we're not doing it on a theater screen where it's like, well, if your phone looks like it's like you bring in your phone. You're going to sit down one-on-one with somebody who's going to say, okay, let's walk through this together. I'm going to set up your voicemail for you, and I'm going to show you, and you're going to practice. I can't make it any better for you. And it's free, right? It's free. Okay. Now, flipping fast forward till early June, because as I said, the June newsletter isn't going to come out until the very, very the last day of May. So the Friends of the Westfield Senior Center will be holding their annual meeting on Tuesday, June 2nd at 9 o'clock. All of the current members will get an invitation because Kathy Millis and I are working on those now, like I was working on it yesterday. So that mailing will be going out before I have my surgery next week. But all are welcome. If you just want to know what the Friends Group is all about and what they do, you are certainly welcome to join us for that annual meeting. Tuesday. It's always the first Tuesday in June. That's in our bylaws. So we can change the time, but we can't change the date. So we've settled on a 9 o'clock in the morning so that we can all have goodies and coffee and all that. And then the next day, Wednesday, June 3rd, is Family Gift Card Evening Bingo. So that is 6 to 7:30. This is hosted by Westfield Pride. It's part of Westfield Pride Week. That whole first week, we do the flag raising and we do gift card bingo, and we have all kinds of stuff going on that week. Each bingo card is $1. You have a limit of 4 bingo cards per player. It's a 50-50 drawing. There are no advanced signups required. We had a van last year. We had a van from the Arbors who came and joined us, and it was so fun. I mean, that evening bingo was the most eclectic group of people. We had people from Pride. We had families. I mean, we had young people. We had older people. We had my regular bingo people. We had people from the Arbors. We had a ball. It was so fun. And the gift cards, the gift cards as prizes are always a hit. And I've already started collecting my gift cards. So be there or be square. All right, it is 7:17. I promised that Jen was going to talk about
dining
out and how to do that. So we are going to do that when we come back. So you're listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. So I wanted to find some songs about restaurants and eating out. So I found this really fun song by Mary Chapin Carpenter. It's called Down at the Twist and Shout. It's a blast.
This is what a woman wants. Any man of mine better be proud of me. Even when I'm ugly, he still better love me. And I can be late for a date, that's fine, but you better be on time. Any man of mine will say it fits just right when last year's dress is just a little too tight. And anything I do or say better be okay when I have a bad hair day. And if I change my mind a million times, I wanna hear him say, Saturday night and the moon is out, I wanna head on over to the twist and shout. Find a two-step partner and a Cajun beat. When it lifts me up, I'm gonna find my feet. Out in the middle of a big dance floor, when I hear that fiddle, wanna beg for more. Wanna dance to a band from Louisiana tonight. And I never have wandered down to New Orleans, never have drifted down a bayou stream, but I heard that music on the radio, and I swore someday I was gonna go down a Highway 10, past the Lafayette. There's a Baton Rouge, and I won't forget to send you a card with my regrets, 'cause I'm never gonna come back home. Saturday night and the moon is out, I wanna head on over to the twist and shout. Find a two-step partner and a Cajun beat. When it lifts me up, I'm gonna find my feet. Out in the middle of a big dance floor, and I hear that fiddle, wanna beg for more. Wanna dance to a band from Louisiana tonight. Hey. They got an alligator stew and a crawfish pie, a Gulf storm blowing into town tonight. Living on the Delta, it's quite a show. They got hurricane parties every time it blows. But here up north, it's a cold, cold rain, and there ain't no cure for my blues today. Except when the paper says Beausoleil is coming into town, baby, let's go down. It's Saturday night and the moon is out. I wanna head on over to the twist and shout. Find a two-step partner and a Cajun beat. When it lifts me up, I'm gonna find my feet. Out in the middle of a big dance floor, and I hear that fiddle, wanna beg for more. Wanna dance to a band from Louisiana tonight. Bring your mama, bring your papa, bring your sister too. They got lots of music and lots of room. When they play you a waltz from the 1910s, you're gonna feel a little bit young again. When you learn to dance with your rock and roll, you learn to swing with the do-say-do, but you learn to love at the fade-do-do when you hear a little show-le blanc. Saturday night and the moon is out, I wanna head on over to the twist and shout. Find a two-step partner and a Cajun beat. When it lifts me up, I'm gonna find my feet. Out in the middle of a big dance floor, when I hear that fiddle, wanna beg for more. Wanna dance to a band from Louisiana tonight. Hey, shit.
Underwriting for the community programming is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here. Where will the superintendent spotlight shine next? Join Stefan Zaporowski and Chris Rogers every Thursday at 9 a.m. to find out. 107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:23. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with Jen Jaffoon. Jen is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist. She's in private practice. She joins us monthly for our Food for Thought segment here on the show, and she also facilitates our Diabetes Dialogue Support and Education Group at the Senior Center on the last Tuesday of the month. So they just met yesterday. And sometimes we talk about the same topic on this show that she did, which is what we're going to do this month. Sometimes not. Just kind of depends on which way the wind blows. But today we are. So the topic was, how do you stay on some kind of healthy eating plan when you're going to a restaurant, when you've been invited to your daughter-in-law and son's house for dinner, when you want to do, when everybody decides let's do takeout. Like, how do you do that,
Right.
Jen?
Well, I see dining out as having 4 stages.
Okay.
And so it's important to try to do things in each stage. So
Okay.
stage 1 is well ahead of time. So for example, I had lunch out with a friend yesterday, but I knew for a month and a half that I was doing that.
Okay.
I'm not talking about I run into you and we go,
Yes,
oh,
yes,
we haven't
yes.
seen each other
Yeah.
in so long. Let's go
Yeah.
get something to eat.
Right.
So well ahead of time is the first stage. The second stage is day of, but you're not there yet.
Okay.
The next stage is you're there.
I'm here.
And what are we going to do?
Okay.
And then the last stage, which most people don't do, is now that it's over, how do we move forward?
Okay.
Because in our country, I'm sure in other countries, but my experience is in our country, people go in with the best of intentions, feel like they've blown it, and then it's a spiral
Yeah.
down the rabbit hole. And
Yeah.
it could take hours, days, weeks, months, years to climb out from an event where you feel like you've messed up, which in my book says you were dieting, which means it starts here and stops here, and you have to go through something before it starts again. I believe in a healthy lifestyle where you're just continually moving forward. So I have that 4th stage.
Yeah. It's fluid.
It's fluid.
And by the way, I should tell you, Jen, that ever since I've met you, I've pretty much eliminated the word diet from my vocabulary, and because
Right.
you're so right. Like, I mean, I can remember growing up with a mom who was constantly on a diet. Well, if you go on a diet, the implication is that at some point you're going to go off a diet, right? Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's interesting because I do use the word diet in my counseling because there's a diabetes
Right,
diet.
exactly.
But when
it's as a noun.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about well ahead of time things people can do. And we can break it down into restaurant versus going to someone's
because
house.
I think they're two different things.
Well, and as the weather starts to improve, there's going to be a lot of going to people's houses.
Yes.
Because we have, if they don't go to the senior center, we've got Mother's Day, we have Memorial Day, we have 4th of July. There's a lot of
We have graduations, we have weddings,
graduations, yep.
the whole deal, picnics.
So, and we usually know. We know
Yes.
when these things are happening. So if you know, one of the biggest things people avoid is communication. Call the host. Find out what's on the menu.
Yep.
If you're comfortable with them, let them know you have some health considerations that you're working on. The thing I say to people is, if you had a severe allergy,
Yes.
let's say you were, anaphylactic,
Yes.
where you couldn't breathe to, say, peanuts,
Yep.
you would let your host know so that you weren't surprised. Well, same, even though it's not an anaphylactic, I'm trying to manage my blood sugar or my blood pressure or whatever. What's on the menu?
Yep.
And you don't have to impose on people and say, well, you can't make those things.
Right.
But what you can do is say, well, for my health, would it be okay if I brought a dish that I know would be healthy for me? And I'll make enough for other people. I told the group yesterday, everyone usually is okay with that. They may not want to eat your food, but they're okay with it. I do have one relative who's like, absolutely not.
Really?
You could not bring a food to their house. If you did, it was put in a back room on a platter that nobody would go into.
Really?
But this was a gourmet cook, and they had a theme and a color profile and a texture and a smell, and
wow,
they weren't going to let you mess with that.
Well, I can tell you right now, if you are invited to my house, feel free to bring whatever the heck you want to bring, because I am not a gourmet cook. And, as far as I'm concerned, it's like, oh, you want to bring this? You want to bring that? You want to bring something else? Awesome. Bring it on.
Why not?
Yeah. And I think most hosts and hostesses are like that.
The other thing is, if it's something that happens regularly, or even if it's out of the blue, you can offer to host. And if you're the host, you have control over the menu.
Sure. Yep.
So you can impose your things
Yep.
and that you
Yep.
need to do.
Yeah.
So I think I want to encourage people to speak up and be their own advocate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I see this regularly. Well, this is how things are, and I'm not going to rock the boat. I will just eat what is served and leave it at that. But, when people are hosting an event, I can guarantee you they are not serving plain boiled chicken, steamed broccoli with no seasoning, and plain potato.
Right.
It's their best.
Yep, of course.
It is full of flavor and color and seasoning, and maybe it's healthy, but maybe it's not.
Yep.
There's a lot of events where there's a lot of food that falls outside of the healthy eating box.
Right. And even for the person hosting, and myself included, I make things when I've got company coming in.
Sure.
That I don't normally make for us necessarily, because it's like, and I'll say to people, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not low calorie, this is.
Right.
And I don't normally make that. This is outside of our norm because it's a special occasion.
It's a special occasion. But what we have to remember is sometimes there's many special occasions in a short period of time.
Absolutely.
If it was one event and nothing else was happening around it, I'd say, enjoy a little, right? The other thing is, I encourage people, especially people who are managing weight or blood sugar, things like that, that practice portion control at home.
Yeah.
You've got time so that you can go, okay, that's like a cup of whatever.
Yes.
Because when you're at an event, food is not portion controlled. Oftentimes there's a spread and you're just scooping.
Yeah.
And, when things look really good or they're your favorites, you will scoop and scoop and scoop. And so figure out.
Well, let's talk about the portion control, Jen, when it comes to restaurant eating.
Okay.
Because I think that can be an issue for people. You go to a restaurant. It was interesting. I overheard a conversation in our fireside lounge as I was running up and down the stairs.
Yep.
And they were talking about a restaurant. And I don't know what the restaurant was because I missed the beginning part of the conversation. One person was saying, oh, I really like that. They don't give you too much.
Yes.
And someone else was saying, well, the portions are kind of small. I'm not sure with the person who said they're kind of small if that was like not a good thing. But the person over here was like, that is a good thing because I can't eat more than,
Well, we live in a country where more is better.
Yes.
Right? And we want more bang for our buck. It's going to the movies and they say, well, for an extra quarter, you can have an extra large popcorn.
Right.
That kind of thing. And of course we do it. And we are like buffet central, right?
Yes.
And all you can eat and all that kind of stuff. So there's three kinds of restaurants. There are restaurants that are overly filling your plate with the starch and portioning smaller things of protein, and there's a green bean on the plate. Right. And those are the more bang for your buck kind of restaurants. And people like that because if you're going to spend money these days eating out, you want a lot of food.
Yeah.
And it's really hard once it's in front of you to not eat it.
Yeah.
There's the restaurants like they were talking about that have smaller portions, but people balk at, well, I'm paying so much. Why would I want to pay that much for a smaller portion? I find those are more like the individually owned restaurants, not like a chain.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they have to take cost into account, but it's more evenly portioned out.
Yes.
And personally, I would rather spend more money on good food and have small portions than have a pile of food that doesn't taste that great.
Same.
And then there's high-end restaurants. I just had this conversation earlier this week with a client who has to be at a lot of high-end restaurants in the next couple of weeks. And they're like, you get a tablespoon of mashed potatoes, you get like one green bean, one carrot, one like they're veggies, but there's individual, and you get a piece of steak that's like the size of a large $50.
Okay.
You know, and then you spend 3 times what you would on that than if you were somewhere else. But they're obligated because of something else.
Yeah, I got it.
Their food is exceptionally good.
Yeah.
Tasty, but
but you walk away. Where's the rest of it?
Right. You come home hungry.
Yeah.
But you need to be aware of portion size. If you've been to a restaurant before, then you know how they serve.
Yes.
But the other thing is, you can ask for things to be done a little differently. Usually they won't change the price, but I will often say, I'd like half the starch and twice the vegetables. And they're like, well, we can do that, but you still have to pay the $10.95.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yep.
Another option is when you order your meal, you can say, this is what I'd like you to do before you bring out the food to me. I want you to take half of everything and put it in a doggy bag. And when you bring out my dish, bring the doggy bag on the side. I will tuck it down.
I've never tried that. But I have said, especially if I've eaten someplace and I know the portions, it's like when you bring my meal, go ahead and bring me, the box because I know I'm not going to be able to eat all this. I've never had them do it, but I've done it myself.
Here's the thing. And I personally don't do this. It's just a tip that I give people. When the food's put in front of you, sometimes it's hard not to eat it.
I don't have a problem with that because I just fill up fast. Yes, I'm sure they do. I tend to fill up fast. And so, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, for some people.
I tend to, when I have lunch out, go to the same place the last couple of years. And in the dining area, there's a table full of leftovers containers. You can just go grab it yourself.
You can just go grab it. I like that.
Which I immediately do
because
I know I'm not going to finish what I have. So,
perfect.
It's just forethought.
Yeah.
It's going, you know what? I know that's a big meal. I'm just going to bring half of it home.
I think the other thing now, of course, most people do have computers and smartphones and all that. So if you know where you're going out, even if it's a place you haven't been to, of course, my husband is gluten-free, so we check menus ahead of time. Gary will check because it's like, well, is this a restaurant that even offers gluten-free?
Exactly.
Not that he can't go, but otherwise it's like, okay, I'm kind of reduced to like a salad with, certain dressings and, all that kind of good stuff. But I think if you, and it kind of likens to, as you said, if you have a food allergy, if you're allergic to whatever, seafood, peanuts, whatever it is, you're going to want to know ahead of time, well, what's on this menu that I can or I can't order, or that I want this, but, hold the nuts because I can't eat them.
Right.
Whatever.
I always look at menus before I go.
Yeah,
I decide
I do
at
as well.
home
So do I.
what I'm going to choose. And I was bold yesterday. When I went to lunch with my friend, well, let me back up. I always tell people, reintroduce yourself to a food. Try it again if you are sure you don't like something, because tastes change over time. We lose some of the bitter taste buds on the sides of our tongue, and so things you may not have liked before, you may like now. I am someone who really has all my life disliked kale. No matter what you do to it, it's still kale. You can rub it, you can cook it, you can saute it, you can marinate, whatever. I've never liked it. Yesterday I got a salad that had kale in it, and I liked it.
Interesting.
And I told myself, you just try it. Try it again.
That's interesting. Was it, but it was, there were other things too. Yeah, it wasn't
there.
just like a
Yeah,
kale
so I
salad.
was
Yeah.
like, well, if I don't like the kale, I can have something else.
Before we go to break, I'll tell this. Here's my kale story. So when we were growing up, my mother was way ahead of her time with, health foods and all that. We were taking, the whole grain bread and the whole wheat bread, and everybody else was eating White Wonder and, all that. But anyway, my mother had decided somewhere along the line she was going to try making kale soup.
Yeah.
Kale soup. So first of all, it's green. It's a green, stringy soup.
Yeah.
That sounds about as good as, Well, my father was not one to complain about food. He was, if it's put in front of you and it's healthy and nutritious, you eat it. Done. 4 kids in the family. This is not a debate. But even my father, and he didn't say anything then, but, for years, that was the joke.
That's why you make sausage kale soup.
Okay.
Yes, you got to put something else in there to.
When we come back from the break, I will tell you about my most recent soup experience.
Okay, all right. It is 7:39. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15. If you're just joining us this morning, my guest is Jen Jafune. The topic is how do you stay on some kind of a healthy eating plan when you're dining out, either in someone else's home or at a restaurant. So we are going to listen to Jim Croce singing Top Hat Bar, also about going out to eat. We'll be back.
Well, if you're looking for a good time, look hard as you want, but you ain't gonna find the kind of good time you will. On Melville Friday, Saturday evening at the Top Hat Bar and Grill. Well, at the Top Hat Bar and Grill, there's a waitress named Lil. Well, she a honky-tonky, little bit chunky. Divorcee, she wear them tight, tippy hugger slacks. You can't believe me when I tell you, Jack, that she a dancing, prancing, or romancing, T-I-E-C, and she can do the boogie-woogie, she can do the boogaloo, and she can do the hoochie-coochie, when she knows how to nasty do. So if you're looking for a good time, look hard as you want, but you ain't gonna find the kind of good time you will. On Melville Friday, Saturday evening at the Top Hat Bar and Grill. Well, at the Top Hat Bar and Grill, they got this bouncer named Gil. Well, he a honky-tonky, heavily funky, an ex-marine. He wear them skin-tight bodybuilder shirts, and Jack can knock you out into the day. But if you got no money, or you try to get funny, then mother you gonna see that man gonna do the boogie-woogie. They gonna do the boogaloo. They gonna do the hoochie-coochie. And he'll be doing all his dancing on you. So if you're looking for a good time, look hard as you want, but you ain't gonna find the kind of bad time you will. Oh, Melville Friday, Saturday evening at the Top Hat Bar and Grill. Looking for a good time. Looking for a bad time. So if you're looking for a good time, look hard as you want, but you ain't gonna find the kind of good time you will. On Melville Friday, Saturday evening at the Top Hat Bar and Grill.
Support for community programming provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:43. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. My guest this morning is Jen Jafune. Jen is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist in private practice here in Westfield, right over the Gas and Electric building on Elm Street, this very cool old building. And Jen joins us monthly for our Food for Thought segment. And we're talking about eating not in your own home necessarily, and how to maintain a healthy diet plan. So how do we do that when we go to restaurants or we're invited somewhere for dinner or, as you said, a special occasion? We've got all kinds of things happening with Mother's Day coming up and all that good stuff. So part of it is planning. But we also talked about soup. Yes, but we also we were having soup stories. So I talked about kale because you talked about retrying something that maybe you didn't like in the past. Yep. But by the way, my thing that I have never liked is asparagus. I know it's supposed to be a delicacy. I can't stand it. I don't like the texture, the smell, or the taste. But I was here for a dinner with a totally fun fitness group last week or 2 weeks ago. My weeks are running together. Anyway, and we had a special luncheon. And the vegetable was asparagus. And I am still at the place where I don't love it. I mean, I don't dislike it as much as I disliked it. It was roasted. If you like asparagus, it was delicious. But I don't care for it. But anyway, I keep trying. One of these days, it may change. So what is so we talked about kale soup in my family. What is your soup story?
So just last week, I wanted to make soup, and I found a recipe that was chicken sausage, kale, and something, garlic, that kind of thing. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make that, but I'm going to use spinach. Okay. And I'm really into the multicolored carrots at the store. I don't know if you've seen them.
I have seen them.
Orange and purple and yellow and,
Do they taste any different than orange carrots, like regular carrots? No, it's just the color. Pretty. They look nice.
Right.
Okay.
So I decided to throw the carrots into the soup as well because I like carrots. It turned my soup purple.
Oh, okay.
Like bright purple.
Yeah.
Everything turned purple.
Okay.
Chicken sausage was purple.
Which is purple. Which is very strange.
It was very strange.
It's very strange. And it's funny because if you can't see, if you have a visual problem, you would probably be fine. But so much of, we've talked about this on the show before, so much of food and eating is psychological and it's visual. And if something is purple that shouldn't be purple, you don't want to eat it.
And
it may have nothing to do with the flavor.
It tasted great.
Yeah.
But we were eating purple soup. I showed it to my granddaughter on
Josie. Yeah. What'd she say?
Yeah, she thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, kids, she might have liked it. It's purple.
We once were at Disney years and years and years ago, and the kids got green ketchup for something, and they couldn't eat it because it was green.
Because it just it didn't look right. Yeah. All right. So we've talked about the fact that planning is really important.
Yep.
We've talked about the fact that, and I love this, that sort of advocating. And I think people are hesitant to do that.
They are.
But I've had people ask me that, what's on the menu. And, I find that to be really helpful because sometimes somebody will say, oh, I really, I'm allergic to that. Or, I really don't care for that. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to change. If it's just if it's just like another couple eating with us or another family, I'm like, well, change the menu. I mean, I don't want to be serving something where you can't eat it.
Right. I actually throw out text to people and say, here's 3 options. What do you think?
Yes, that's a good idea.
They get back to me. Okay, so stage 2. It's the day of, you're not there yet.
Okay.
Sometimes people will starve themselves because they want to be able to just eat at the party or the dinner. And I tell, no.
Not a good idea.
Then you're going to go overboard because you're hungry. So maybe you can eat lighter, but you still need to eat. And key to it is about 15 to 30 minutes before you walk in the door of the restaurant or your friend's home, have a snack. which people look at me like I have 3 heads, but you never want to walk in hungry.
Yeah.
And you want to start the process of something in your stomach, filling it a little bit so that you don't go overboard. Other things to consider is make sure you hydrate, because we as adults interpret thirst as hunger, and we tend to eat more. And maybe that's a day you take an extra loop around the block when you're taking your walk. But think about how you want to approach the day. I do also suggest people make a motivational list. It could be well ahead or the day of why they're trying to eat healthier. Write down a few things. They could be very serious, like, I don't want to develop this further complication, or I still want to come off that medication, or I want to fit into my skinny clothes in the back of the closet. Whatever they are, write them down. Put them on your phone or a little card in your wallet. So if you're having a little struggle while you're out, you can pull that out, and that's your Jiminy Cricket. You know, it's to remind you. And so there's not a lot to do that day, but be thoughtful. And if you're,
you know what, I would throw another thing in there too, and I think that and it kind of goes into the sort of advocating for yourself and sort of being open and honest with people. But I appreciate it if somebody said, you know, like if I say to somebody, wow, you look fabulous. Well, I've really been watching what I've eaten, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I am now their ally when we're we're here. It's like, okay, well, what'll work for you? And now they've got somebody who's in their corner to say, well, I'm going to stay away from that, or maybe I'll just have one of those, but, we'll focus over here. So I think, again, I've had people say to me, hey, listen, I had a heart scare. I ended up in the emergency room, and I got to make changes. And, again, I want to help you with that.
Right. And I do suggest communicating.
Yeah.
However, I suggest being specific. So you say to your person, spouse, friend, whatever, I really like the bread. I am not going to have a dessert. And if I go to have the dessert, I want you to just nudge me. Don't say anything, just nudge. Tell people what you want them to do.
Yes.
They're usually very on board with that. If you don't, sometimes you get an over-enthusiastic person who might go, should you be having that? I don't know if that's a diet food. And then it ruins the experience.
Yes, exactly.
So people are happy to help usually, but you need to guide them.
Yep.
So those are things you can do day of, not there. So now we're there. And, restaurants are made and people's homes for these events to entice you. If you walked into a restaurant or someone's home and it smelled bad, you're not going to want to eat there.
Right.
They go out of their way to make things smell good. And so, your senses are stimulated. You just have to remember to use your brain.
Yep.
And I have thought of these things. This is what I'm going to order. Stick to your plan as best you can. There's always surprises. I don't know if surprise is the right word, but
no, surprise is a great word.
Unexpected foods.
Yeah. So here's what happens: you go to a restaurant, you check the menu carefully, you know what you want to do, and the first thing that happens is the wait staff comes out and says, "Well, let me tell you what today's specials are."
Right.
It's like, no, I don't want to know what today's specials are. I have this all mapped out.
I made a decision.
Then they start giving these specials, and you're going, ooh, there's one of your
and that
surprises.
Can catch you up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always suggest when people are at someone's home to stick to the one plate rule. We've talked about this before. So 1 plate of food, if there's a spread, you get a plate, you fill up once. You don't go over your first knuckle with food unless it's a non-starchy veggie. There's only refills on one thing, and that's the non-starchy veggies, as long as they're not batter dipped and fried.
Right. Yeah.
You can have a spoonful of gravy. You can have a spoonful of dressing, but not like the serving spoon, but like the spoon at your place. I'm a big fan of the Weight Watchers fork trick, which is, a lot of people do this. I'd like my dressing on the side. Okay. But then they just pour the whole thing on top. The dressing on the side was intended to limit how much you use of a high-fat, high-calorie product. So Weight Watchers' fork trick is this. You dip your fork in the dressing, fork in the vegetables, and in your mouth. Dressing, veggies, mouth. If you go the other way, veggies, dressing, slosh, 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 and you have to put your hand under it because it's dripping, it's not what you want to do.
I actually do that. First of all, I always ask for my dressing on the side, and mostly because I just found that they would drown the salad in dressing, and it's way more than I want. I mean, it's not that, oh, this is so great. So I always ask for it on the side, and I do it the opposite. I do vegetable dip, but I don't like a lot of dressing. So my dip is like a tiny little dip, because that's, if I wanted it drowned in dressing, I would have just said to them, put it on there, you know.
And as long as you can control it. But that fork trick works great with gravy and sour cream on a potato, all those kind of things. So it's a way to get the taste sensation and the flavors without the load of fat and sodium. Other tips, I suggest people turn their plate if they forget their vegetables on their plate and start there. Some people like a little of this, a little of that, and I understand that, but these are all just little tips of the trade. Despite the new dietary guidelines, I still stand by 1 alcohol drink for a woman, 2 for men in a day. No save-ups. If you didn't have one today, you don't get double tomorrow. And 1 alcohol drink is about a 4 to 6 ounce glass of wine, or a 1 ounce shot in a liquor-based drink, or a 12-ounce beer. You know, be smart. Because alcohol can enhance an evening. I understand that. But it is extra calories. It can raise your triglycerides, increase your heart health issues, affect the liver, so blood sugar management is off. I mean, it does all kinds of things.
Just be careful.
There are words on menus that would indicate healthier food choice, like broiled or boiled or roasted or brined. Brined will have higher sodium, so you just have to be figure out what you're looking for, versus, you know, fried. But when I do point out to people, stir fry is okay, even if it has fried in the name. Because in a wok, you actually use maybe a tablespoon of oil
you don't use a lot
for
of
the
oil.
whole thing. So,
and I find too, I find generally a lot of the menus now, they'll say, you know, you can have chicken on your salad. Do you want it broiled, you know, grilled, or do you want it fried? You know, they'll ask you that. Which I think is great.
Some menus even have a health section.
Yes, they do. And a lot of them now too will give you the calorie count, you know, and all of that other good stuff.
Well, you know, chains, particularly fast food chains, they're required.
I think
to
they're required
post
now,
their
right?
calorie levels now. However, if calories aren't your issue, you do need to look further and find out what the sodium load is, or, you know, be more conscientious about what it is you're trying to achieve. So
I think it, you know, I think generally for me anyway, I think restaurant eating actually allows you more options, because again, at a restaurant, you can always say, I need a container because I'm going to take some of this home. Harder to do when you're at your cousin's house for a special dinner. It's, you know, somebody's birthday or something.
Well, and at a restaurant, you know, I can say,
hold the dressing, hold this, no sour cream on my, you know, whatever. Or instead
of French fries, what are my other options? You know, and at someone's home, you're obviously not going to do that. You know, hopefully you already know what's on the menu. You brought some things maybe that you can have that you know are good food choices. So it's a lot of brain time. Really.
It's planning.
It's thinking ahead. It's being put on the spot to make a decision in case there are surprises. And, you know, you can always do things like, oh, that appetizer sounds amazing, but if I have that and an entree, I am going way over. I'm going to eat the appetizer as my entree. I've done 2 sides as my meal sometimes. You know, like you can kind of pick and choose. And the restaurant's not going to be offended. Your friends or family might be if you
Well, you know, it also depends though, you know, as you pointed out, if you are at friends or family. If it's kind of a buffet style, it gives you some of those same options that you have in a restaurant. You can choose how much you're taking. You can choose what you're taking. I'm going to take a lot of this and very little of that. It's harder when it's a sit down and someone else is dishing out. Like I will ask, it's like I just want, and my sister-in-law is like me, like we just want a really small portion.
Yep.
I do it with my granddaughter now. I do it with Charlie, and I keep saying to Grace, give her literally like a teaspoon. I would rather have her keep saying more, more, more than have me give her a big thing, have her take 2 bites, and now I'm throwing food away, or it just is overwhelming.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is for some people, a big plate of food is a turnoff. Like, I was really hungry,
too
and
much.
then it's just too much.
It's just like too much, so now I don't even know where to start with all this.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So we only have a minute or so left, Jen. What is your 4th stage? Because I know there's that follow-up. Yeah.
I suggest you have a conversation just with yourself. Pat yourself on the back for things you did differently that you think were healthy. Acknowledge that you like the food, because in our country it's a bad thing to like good food, and I think that's wrong, and we need to change that. And then just fill in the blank of this sentence. The next healthy thing I'm going to do is, just put in that, it's not restrict and diet, but it's, I'm going to have a glass of water, or I'm going to take a walk around the block, or make my lunch for tomorrow, and then just do it.
Yeah.
And that keeps you moving
forward. And that gets you back on track. So it's
not even back on track. Just moving forward.
Just moving forward. Yeah. All right. We are done. We're out of time. I know it went fast. I blew through the 7:45 break, but I figure we'll play. We're going to do I Love to Laugh on the way out, because in honor of the birthday of Jerry Seinfeld, and plus it's Mary Poppins, and I love Mary Poppins movie, and I think every time I hear this song I just crack up. Hopefully if you're just joining us, we're signing off now, but thank you to Jen Jafune. Jen, again, is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist here in private practice in Westfield. Jen, phone number for anyone who might want to get a hold of you?
579-5450.
Perfect. And Jen does work with various insurances and so forth.
Yep.
Again, also facilitates our Diabetes Dialogue Support and Education Group, which, by the way, is not just for people who have diabetes.
Yes.
It's for family members, and it's for anybody who wants to eat a healthy, to have a healthy lifestyle. Feel free to join us, because as Jen has pointed out, if you are eating for a diabetic, you're eating a healthy, you're eating a healthy diet.
This was our topic yesterday.
Yes, exactly.
For everyone.
It's for everyone. I will not be here for the next month. The entire month of May will be best of shows, but we've pulled some really good ones from the last year and a half. Jen is on some of them, I think. So again, please stop by the Senior Center, get the newsletter. There's a lot happening in May and early June. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15 WCPC, and I will see you in June when I get back.
I love to laugh loud and long and clear. I love to laugh. It's getting worse every year. The more I laugh, the more I fill with glee, and the more the glee, the more I'm a merrier me. It's embarrassing. The more I'm a merrier me.
Some people laugh through their noses, sounding something like this. Dreadful. Some people laugh through their teeth, goodness sakes, hissing and fizzing like snakes. Not at all attractive to my way of thinking.
Some laugh too fast. Some only blast. Others, they twitter like birds.
You know, you're as bad as he is.
Then there's that kind what can't make up their mind. When things strike me as funny, I can't hide it inside and squeak. as the squeakers do. I got to let go with a hoe. And we love to laugh, loud and long and clear. We love to laugh, so everybody can hear. The more you laugh, oh my goodness, the more